Good evening. This is an early evening ride, only a short one today. After 2 big Peak District rides last week, this will be the only time I get out this week, but it's not a problem. So today, I'm out on for the first time since last year, late last year, on the Ribble Endurance SL. Yeah, it's a carbon fibre frame. It's electric. It's got the Mahle X20 motor. Since late last year, other than a few windy days where I took out the specialised Turbo Vado SL, I've been on my new Scott Addict RC eRIDE with the Mahle X20 motor. Anyway, first impressions on first ride after 5 months after riding my new bike. I hate saying this. After 6,500 miles of enjoying some amazing rides on this bike, but my first impressions is, how the heck did I ride this bike for so long? I feel a bit more stretched out. Didn't like the handling going around the corner, but the worst of all, look, can you see? These mechanical brakes are shit. Pardon my French, absolutely awful. I don't know how. It scares me to think, I don't know how I've flown down Peak District hills at 50 miles an hour with them brakes. I mean, I did know to go down to the drops and you get more leverage on the lever, but wow, they are rubbish. Absolutely shocking. Other than that, the bike just, let's see now. So, I've not got a power meter on this, but I know my own effort, if you know what I mean. I'm in eco. This don't feel too bad, actually. No, this ain't too bad, because my first couple of miles was straight into a headwind. I'm in eco. I'm doing 16 miles an hour. I don't feel too bad. The bike's kept indoors. Did have a layer of dust on it, quick wipe down. Topped up the tyres. And strangely, after 5 months of no use, the battery was at the exact same 77% charge that it was when I left it. So this top up to 100% it's just had. Whatever I drop it to today, I'm doing about 20 odd miles. If I get home and it's less than 50%, I'll give it a little top up to 65% charge, and give her a wipe down. And then I've owned this bike since February 2023. Unfortunately, she needs to go. And it's not just the fact that I ain't got space for 3 bikes. The fact that high value bikes and sensitive batteries, I can't really put them in a cold shed. I can't keep them all indoors. We need more space. I thought this bike was the absolute bee's knees when I got it. And I knew I'd end up feeling bad riding it. Something else I'm noticing now. With me riding to the riding up to the cut-off speed, I could feel the motor engaging, disengaging, engaging, disengaging, but you don't notice that on the X20. It doesn't just hard cut off. So it's a very strange, disconcerting feeling, feeling the motor whoosh in, off. Then you feel the drag whoosh in as I'm hovering up above and just below 15.6 miles per hour. Believe me, this is quite a strong headwind I'm going into, to be fair. But don't be afraid of headwinds. That's one of the reasons why I always plan every single route as a loop. Although you could just do a route where it takes you there, you come to an end point, and then you turn back on yourself. But I don't tend to do them. Boring. There is always a puddle of water here, even in the middle of the summer. Hill for the X35 motor. So off my Scott Addict eRIDE, I've took off the Mahle Pulsar 1. If only I would have known about this little computer when I first bought this Ribble, because watch. Press the button, changes the mode, and you can change back down to eco without having to cycle up past turbo, neutral, and back to eco like you have to do on the top button. Right, so I'm going up at 10 miles an hour, spinning away. It feels okay. Yeah, it's climbing okay. It's not a struggle. I don't know my watts. Yeah, definitely not as good as the X20, 100%. This is the false summit. Still climbing. And now knock it back to eco, back to green. Yeah, it was all right actually. But also shows me what a superb upgrade the Mahle X20 motor is. Plus the 1.5 kilos less weight. high performance tyres and TPU tubes. The brakes is the first thing I noticed. Nice little evening, isn't it? Right. Well, I'm hoping now when I turn right, I might actually get a bit of a tailwind going. I'm not feeling at one with this bike at all, which is weird because it's my bike. And also, when I first bought the Scott Addict and rode that, instead of that feeling alien, strangely, within 1 to 2 rides, that bike felt like it had been built from the ground up for me. The geometry, the way it responds to my riding style. I also forgot how noisy this chain is on this bike. And it is freshly lubed. What it is, I took it to my local bike shop and I think they said one price for the Shimano 10-speed chain and it was like £5 cheaper for the SRAM. So the lad said, yeah, it'll work exactly the same. So I got it. Yeah, it changes gear, fine, all that. But especially in the big ring, sounds like you need to index your gears, but they're perfectly indexed. I think it's just a slight mismatch between the Shimano cassette and the SRAM chain. Although this is the 4th chain that the bike's had, so who knows, maybe the chain ring or the cassette's close to needing a change, but I've never had a skip gear, not once. I've always been on top of my bike maintenance, and my previous chains were all changed way before they were at 0.75. As soon as they're shown 0.5 wear, within a few weeks I'd booked them in. I had the chain replaced, so they normally say for every 4 change, especially your cassette, it needs changing. But I've got a feeling if this one was changed on time, it could take a 5th chain. I mean, the other chains have done about 2,000 miles each, I think. But again, even then, I'd always been kept superbly clean. Never have I had a black chain. When I first bought this bike, I was coming from a Trek hybrid. Never had a road bike before. So I was still using muck-off dry lube. I quickly changed that out for their ceramic. Absolutely rubbish, don't ever use it. Then after that, Pete's all-weather lube, supposed to be self-cleaning. To be fair, it was an half-decent lube. But I've moved on from there now. Then after that I tried True Tension all-weather lube, tungsten disulfide version. That was next level. But the biggest breakthrough is when I moved to Silka Super Secret. Wow. You get the Silka chain stripper. That prepares the bike for the wax. Gets rid of all of the factory grease. But Silka, wow. I mean, I'm imagining that taking your chain off and putting it in a chain bath and all that crock pot is probably even better still. But if you know how to use the Silka Super Secret, honestly, I don't see why you would need anything better. Once my chain's stripped, I rinse off the chain stripper, use an air gun to blast out any water, leave it for an hour, one coat of Silka, leave that for 4 or 5 hours or longer, put a second coat, rub it in with your fingers, then leave it for at least 24 to 48 hours, go out, ride once, come back, wipe it down, and then add a third layer, and then you're good to go for a couple of 100 miles. Then after a couple of 100 miles, wipe the chain and just top up with another layer. Then after about 1,000 miles, 1,200 miles, reset the chain, clean it again, take it back to bare metal and repeat. Got no idea how far I've rode. Without my head unit. I've got my average speed up. Last time I did this route on my new Scott Addict, I used 25% of the battery because I rode that fast. Other than the hills, I was whizzing along at 18, 19, 20 miles an hour. So easy to maintain your speed as well. I got back, average speed 17.2. I can't even see this ride tonight even being 16.2, and that's the difference. But we'll see. I'm not going to hold back. The bike's chugging along now at 17 miles an hour. Yeah, you could ride this bike and think it's the bee's knees. But every time I go to accelerate, it just feels heavy. I feel like I have to put out a ridiculous amount of power just to increase my average, my speed by, say, 1 mile per hour. On my Scott Addict, as soon as I put down a little bit more effort, that just translates into forward motion. It's such an upgrade. But to be honest with you, considering that at that point you're way above the motor cut-off, I've changed my route. I'm cutting it a little shorter tonight. I think I have to give him a little boy a bath. I'm faffing getting things ready. I'm starting to lose the sun. Probably got about 30 minutes. So I'm gonna stop, have a banana because I've not had tea. And it's 10 to 8 in the evening. But this shortcut I'm taking will intercept my original route and just cut out a big section. If I get an hour in the legs, 16 miles or so, I'd be happy with that. It just keeps me ticking over until next week. And I think the weather next week is supposed to be a lot warmer, so I'll probably try and get a couple of long rides in next week after this pretty much cycling free week with just one short ride. I'm going to stop here, have a nana. I'll show you my bike. So this is the Ribble Endurance SL. I've rode so many miles on her. I flipped the stem to bring it higher and closer. It's quite a long, aggressive bike. Okay. The sun will be down in about 15 minutes. I've probably got 30-40 minutes to go home. I've got lights, very good ones too. It was raining this late morning, early afternoon today. And it got to about 3 o'clock and it cleared up. I mean, the bike's chugging along now at 17 miles an hour. Yeah, you could ride this bike and think it's the bee's knees. But every time I go to accelerate, it just feels heavy. I feel like I have to put out a ridiculous amount of power just to increase my average my speed by, say, 1 mile per hour. On my Scott Addict, as soon as I put down a little bit more effort, that just translates into forward motion. It's such an upgrade. But to be honest with you, considering that at that point you're way above the motor cutoff, that could just be comparing the Ribble Endurance SL, ignore the electric side of things, versus the Scott Addict RC, and it's no contest. The Scott Addict just transfers any effort you put through the pedal straight into forward motion, straight through the cranks. Snap. No matter what speed you're going, even if you're going 20 miles an hour, if you just increase your power and your cadence slightly, increase in speed. I think this is where I intercept my original route. So if I would have stuck to my original route, is this the point? I'd be coming out of here on my left now and joining this road. Yes. Oh well, what's going on with my Ranger glasses? It's stuck on a loop. It just said your route is being, your route is being, your route is being about 1,000 times. So I'm back on my original route. So yeah, probably cut out about 5 miles or so, maybe more, but I don't care. I've been training very, very hard for the last 5-6 weeks, and I could easily have had a week off this week, and technically I have. This 1 hour spin for me is nothing, but it's not to my body and my muscles and my legs. It would just stop that, even if it was a small drop off, if I'd left it until next week. Although knowing me, once my muscles were warmed up, even if I had had a week off, once I was an hour into my ride, I'd probably be zooming anyway. That's just typical of me. So I'm heading towards Ashley, which is not far from the Tatton Mile, going up to Tatton Park in Cheshire. I'm doing 17 miles an hour, but if I was on my Scott Addict now, I'd be doing 19. Same effort. But another thing I would say, this Pro Logo Kappa Pro Logo saddle is definitely comfier than the short nose one on the Scott Addict. Sun's setting. Probably got about 5-6 miles until I'm home, but I've got a good powerful front light, got a rear light, and I've got a rear light on the back of my helmet, which is the Power Pack Plus for these Ranger glasses, video glasses, that gives you absolutely loads more recording time or listening to podcast music. Looking over the Cheshire Plain. Lovely evening. I'm working all weekend, 2 12-hour shifts. So no cycling for me. Busy Monday. So I'm hoping for Tuesday and possibly Friday. as my ride days for next week. Yeah, I mean, another thing, I can get up to 18, 19 miles an hour, but it just feels so wooden. I can get up to that speed, but gradually, if there's a bit of a downhill plus my power, there's no acceleration up to that speed like there is on my Scott Addict. Okay, the sun's gone down over the horizon now, but I'll soon be in Hail first, and then Hale Barns, and then home. So, my original plan for the Ribble before she went, as a little thank you for me to her for 3 years of unbelievable experiences, going further into the Peak District than I ever dreamed possible. Going to Cheshire, Wales, all these different places that we've been together. I did plan on another Peak District ride, maybe to Buxton, something like that. But this short ride tonight, unfortunately, and to be honest, I don't feel bad whatsoever when I say this, but I actually think this could be my last ride on her. I've got all the memories of the places we've been, but I think the memories are more of the places than of the bike. Tonight, and I love cycling, all I keep thinking all the time is I'd rather be on my other bike. I'd rather be on my new Scott Addict RC eRIDE 20 with the Mahle X20 motor and Di2 and hydraulic brakes, fast tyres and TPU tubes, whizzing along probably 2 miles an hour faster than what I am right now for the same effort. So I think after this ride I'll give her a quick wipe down, and then the next week she don't need anything else, no polish, she's well looked after, she's in great nick. And these bikes retail for £3,000 new, and I'm hoping to get about 1,300, 1,400. Chunk of that money will go on some upgrades for a new group set for the Specialized Turbo Vado SL, which is very much held back by its 1x10 group set. The jumps between some of the gears are just shocking. And even my son, who's not really a cyclist, he wasn't really a cyclist at all until last summer when I started taking him out on it. He noticed straight away, I don't know what gear to be in. One's too loose, one's too hard. That's how he would describe it to me. But it weren't wrong. Some of the jumps are horrendous. So it's got an 1142 cassette, 44 tooth Praxis crank, and I originally considered an 1150 tooth cassette, 12 speed, but then I thought, do we actually need a 50 tooth cog? I took that bike with its mid-hub mower, up Pim's chair, the peak's at 20%, I span up it no problem. So, my idea now is to go from an 1142 10-speed cassette to an 1146. That gives you a pretty decent jump in your climbing gear, but then that 1146 is a 12-speed cassette, and even though it's a hybrid bike with only one chain ring, that 12-speed cassette, I'm hoping, gives you more of a road bike feel with much closer gear ratios, so that when you change the gear, it's just a subtle change in your cadence. Obviously, it's never going to match my Shimano 105 Di2 that I've got with 1134, but the 1134, the jumps are so tight, such a wonderful group set to ride. But I'm looking at the Shimano XT, and just like Ultegra, not even 105 has it, but just like Ultegra, it has, in your pulley wheels and your jockey wheels, it has bearings, sealed bearings, not bushings. And that was one of the reasons with my Shimano 105 group set, I put Ultegra pulley wheels in. It sounds quieter, you save a bit of watts. Wow. That would be more like me if I was on my Scott. I think that person was wearing an aero skin suit as well. Fair play, zooming along. This is Hale. Not safe driving whatsoever. Right, I really don't like riding without my Varia radar, and then I know whether car's behind me or not. It's alright. Bloody hell, there's loads of them. Yeah, I'm zipping along. Battery's down to 68%. I reckon I'll get on with around 55. I probably won't even need to top it up then. Leave it as is. What am I on anyway? I'm on level 2. Right, I'm trying to put down a bit of power-ish. I'm doing 18 miles an hour on a flat, it's not bad. You have that feeling that if you stop pedaling for a split second, your speed will just instantly drop. Whereas on my Scott Addict, if I built my speed up to 18.5 and stop pedaling for 5 seconds, sometimes it don't even drop whatsoever. So I'm having to maintain on the power, constant pressure. And my speed's already dropped to 16. I think it's time to go home, retire this bike once and for all, shake her by the pedal and pass her on for someone else to enjoy, because I've upgraded, and boy what an upgrade my bike is. if there was ever, which there isn't, if there was ever a split-second doubt on how good my Scott Addict RC eRIDE is, all I had to do is go back just one ride on this. The only thing what's better on this is the BBB gravel bar tape. When I went down in the drops, so cushioned. So thick and grippy. Can he get home before it goes dark? I might put the light on the back of my helmet in a minute. Another thing, gear change. Shifting into a harder gear with the little paddle feels no different to me than the i2. But going into an easier gear, the big swing, you forgot how far you've got to push. There is one positive about this bike. With these Michelin Protect tyres, and maybe slightly less stiff frame, it definitely goes over a bit of rough ground, less rattly. Right, so I'll be home soon because I'm leaving Hale, I'm going towards Hale Barnes. Mother duck. And I live just at the back of Wimshire Hospital. Down these lanes here. Oh. It's definitely a smoother ride. There you go, there's some positive comments. It's definitely a smoother ride. I don't know if that's the frame, the tyre, the butyl tubes, I don't know. Maybe a trade-off for that stiff frame, that power transfer of the HMX carbon frame is rigidity, yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's very rigid. So you feel all the vibrations. Although I'll have to look to see if the Schwalbe 1 tyres that I've got on it, if they're also available in 32mm, because I've got 30. It's not much of a jump to 32, but that could be the secret sauce to giving me a slightly comfier ride, slightly lower pressures. Excuse me. Or, if anyone that's owned a rear hub motorbike would tell you, the rear tyre always wears down quicker. I could put a 32 on the back and have a 30 on the front. And just have a slightly wider tread on the back wheel where the weight of the motor is. It's an option, and that's exactly what I did on this bike. I started off with Michelin Protect tyres, 28mm for one summer. Then the next summer, I bought 32mm, and when the 32mm rear tyre was wearing down, I had kept the front tyre off the 28 because the bike shop said there's plenty of tread on that, keep it as a spare. So I took the 32 off the front, put that to the back, and my 28mm spare from the year before went onto the front. You don't want a thinner tyre at the back, believe me. And it's worked brilliantly on this bike, although I don't know if it's anything to do with the internal diameter of the width of the rims, but the 28mm shut up, tell me where my route is. I've changed my route, I'm in charge, not you. So the 28mm on the front, even when that was the full set on front and back, when I used my digital caliper to measure it, they actually measure around just under around 31mm, believe it or not. And when I changed to 32s, they blow up on these rims to 32.5, so pretty much what it says on the tin. So technically, what I've actually got on this bike is the same tyres, but a 32.5 on the rear and a 31 on the front. And when you consider the first thing the wind hits on a bike is your front tyre, that slightly narrower rim might have been benefiting me on a lot of rides. Right, I've just gone past the farm and I'm nearly home. Thank you for watching.